Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. In this ETF video, I'm going to focus on XLK and the semiconductors. Actually, I'm going to use the SOX index because my SMH ETF data did not adjust for the split that occurred here several months ago. So we're going to focus on technology and semiconductors. They were the big movers this last week, and in reality, over the last 2 weeks. And SMH is actually the biggest mover of the year. So we're going to start off here with XLK. You could see it was up 4.57 on Friday, up $7.76 for the week, and back to back, pretty amazing moves. 4.52% this last week and 11.4% over the last 2 weeks in here. And the weekly closing price was a new weekly closing high on XLK. So let me just move over a little bit on this and show you what I'm talking about here. This is this is the prior high, right as we were heading into 22. So the 2021 high, week of December 25th. Then we, kind of nudged above that here in July, and now we're back up into that territory with a new closing weekly high. Now, two stocks that within XOK that make up the biggest percentage is Microsoft and Apple. The two of them together, 47.58%. Microsoft, 24.43%. Let's take a look at those two stocks. Microsoft and Apple, members of the Magnificent Seven. And here's Microsoft, and look at this picture. Just continues. So the previous week was a new closing weekly high, and this week it just followed through. But look at the two candles back to back. And I was trying to see, oh, I know what I was going to show you on the daily chart. If you take a look at this, look at the price action that's going on here. We pushed above and closed above the Kellner channel a week ago. All of this week, the prices just continued to close and push above the top of the Kellner channel, which is this this lightly dashed line in here. This is the top and this is the bottom of the Kellner channel. Okay, I like having the Kellner channels on mine. I like them better than Bollinger Bands. It's just a personal thing, but they kind of tell you similar type activity in terms of when you're getting to extreme. But this definitely is telling you that we're getting extreme. We are getting overbought on the RSI. I use a 10 bar RSI just so you know. The standard, the default is 14. I just like the 10 bar because I think it shows movement a little bit better. All right, so, Microsoft strong push, getting extreme. Let's take a look at Apple. Okay, here you go. Here's the weekly and the daily, up $3.99 on Friday, up $9.75 for the week, back to back. Very strong weeks in here. Now, I'm looking at my notes here. Now, Apple is 23.15% of XLK, and Microsoft is 24.4. So again, the two together, 47.6% when you round it. The weekly range, look at the range on this stock right here, $10.36 between high and low. This is looking very similar to 2 week moves that occurred back in August, and not so much in the beginning of October, but a little more similar to what happened here in August. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of follow through we got. The range that we get this coming week, the range that we had here on the week of August 27th, $11.38. And this one, which I know I had, $10.36. It's not pulling it up. There we go, $10.36. Okay, so again, big strong moves, the real key. What kind of follow through are we going to get here on Apple? And one of the things I want to look at is, let's just take a quick look at the retracement of this move from July to October. Where are we? a little bit above 61.8% on the retracement level. So yeah, we've gone very, very deep and very, very fast. So that is the picture on Apple. Now I want to take a look at the semiconductors. I'm going to pull up the SOX index. Okay, this is getting real interesting when you take a look at the weekly chart of the SOX index. Now, it has been up, let's see, it was up 4.1% this last week. SMH was up 5.2%, but the SOX was almost identical to XLK. And of course, the semiconductors are a part of XLK, kind of a subset, right? 11.4% over the last 2 weeks in terms of the gain, identical to XLK. So this picture looks really eerily similar to the price action that happened back over here the week of March 13th and the week of March 20th. So the second half of March in here, as the counter trend move, got the 10-week below the 21-week, snapback moves, 10-week below the 21-week, snapback moves. It's going to be really interesting to see, do we get this kind of follow through? You know, a swing higher and then close lower? We'll see. We'll see what we get this coming week. I think it's going to be kind of key to short term. Where are we going with these? And I think the same thing might be happening on XLK. We'll see. Let's take a look. The two biggest stocks within SMH. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to SMH because that's the ETF with the holdings. Nvidia at 19.6% and Taiwan Semiconductor 13.1. So let's pull up Nvidia and take a look. So here's this the high that occurred back in 21. We punched well above that in May of this year. And here we are again with back-to-back, just like we looked at on the SOX and XLK. Since July, I think it's kind of interesting. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you on the daily is what I thought was very interesting. Since July, you could see how whenever it gets above the Keltner channel, it has been having a hard time staying there. It's basically been chopping sideways. So it sticks its nose above the Keltner channel, and the same thing's happening at the bottom. It doesn't stay there very long, and then it sells off. Sticks its nose above the Keltner channel, sells off. Now we're doing the same thing, although we've got 2 days in a row as we push up here, slightly overbought on the RSI. So it's going to be interesting to see, does this hold? Does this continue to push? Or is this all we're getting in here? There's something else I had seen. I think that was it. Now let's take a look at Taiwan Semiconductor. Okay, here's the weekly view of TSM, and it's really interesting. Look at this spike volume this week right here, the week of January 9th of last year. Okay, get above the Keltner channel, huge volume, and then we just collapse after that big, big top that was put in, and now we had a big move back, counter trend back up in here, and now this move from July. Actually, June, the high in June, I think it was. Let's go take a look at the daily chart. I've pulled in the data right here. Yeah, June. It was June 13th was the high. And then we come back down to September 26th. And in terms of a retracement of this move down here, we've retraced about 50%. So what's kind of interesting is, are we getting, when I look at the daily chart, look at this big candle, this WR7 bar, as I call them. I think of WR7 and and NR7. So wide-ranging bars, the widest ranging bar of the last 7 days, and the narrowest ranging, because I'm always thinking of compression and expansion. And this kind of expansion with huge volume definitely raises a flag in my mind. And especially when you get above the Keltner channel, like we are right here. And it looks somewhat similar to huge expansion on the weekly, closing above the Keltner channel with huge volume on the weekly. So it's going to be interesting to see, did this just run out of steam as the market's gorging itself on technology, semiconductors and other. And that reminds me, I wanted to show you one other thing. Now, this is a week old, but this is data from Bank of America, and they're talking about technology versus the S&P, and they did a comparison in here. And what they're showing is, where has it gotten to an extreme? Tech is at all-time highs relative to the S&P 500. You could see what's been happening here recently, and then we just got more of this. So this was November 3rd. And of course, over the last week, what just happened? And this is just this is just extreme. Here's 2000 and here's 1968. So yeah. Now, I mean, this doesn't tell you when to sell or when to get out, but it kind of gives you the background picture as to where we are relative to what the market has done over the years. Okay, that's it for this video. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber to the YouTube channel, hit that little subscriber button. And if you'd like more of this information on a regular basis, head on over to joehenches.net. Check out the website and check out the membership. Everyone have a great week. We'll talk to you on the next video.